as opposed to just exposing, because we all have this program where we think all we have to do is talk about a problem and the morality police are going to come out of the woodwork and fix it. I'd like everybody here to know today that the Citizens Committee for Restructured Government, ccrg.info, Charlie Romeo Golf.info is the website. It'll explain more specifically the issue that I'm about to present, but there is no doubt about it, the Department of Defense is involved. We will also send anybody that requests it a copy of a Department of Defense briefing that took place regarding utilizing chemtrails to spray certain viral matter into our environment, which would be absorbed by people to manipulate certain parts of proper functioning of the brain. There are also record numbers of respiratory and health-related issues out there. I'm sure somebody in this room knows somebody that's having some type of sinusitis, bronchitis. It is a reaction to the it's an allergic reaction to what's being done to us. They are spraying, there is no doubt about it. DOD is involved, and as I mentioned, I can't stress enough to contact us and request a copy of the Department of Defense briefing that basically they admit, flat out, some very interesting things, as well as I believe there was an assassin present during that briefing who asks a very interesting question, which is also again depicted in the video. Also, a lot of people here are familiar with something called Project HARP, High Altitude Auroral Research Project. The same scientist, Dr. Bernard Eastland, who has certain patent involvement with HARP, also has patent involvement with the elements that are being sprayed in the chemtrails. Also, my question is for people to ponder is who has the kind of power to allow jet fuel to be infused with aluminum, barium, and other toxic elements and authorized to refuel airplanes with this toxic substance and spray them systematically all over the world. The two countries that are not being hit are Sub-Saharan Africa and China. What a coincidence. Is not receiving the amount of chemtrail exposure that the rest of the world is. But is it a fact? Yes. Is it happening? Yes. Are people going to get up here today and present all this evidence and information on how it's being done and all these other things? Yes. But I want people to remember that when you want solution to not just the chemtrail issue, we have a way of taking our country off of oil. We can reverse many illnesses through techniques that are not being discussed by the AMA. If anybody here is on fluoride, please look up a case. Dr. William Marcus versus the EPA. Chief toxicologist of the EPA was fired from his job in '96, that exposing that fluoride is toxic. So if anybody wants legal proof that fluoride is toxic, there's the copy of the lawsuit, Dr. William Marcus versus the EPA. The fluoride has been approved in our drinking water and various other substances, our toothpaste. So this is one atrocity that again ties into the same entities that are not only authorizing fluoride and other chemical, biological, and electronic manipulations of our reality and health, but it's the legal documentation that backs it all up. And everybody wants proof, proof, proof. We got all the proof you can imagine. A lot of people here are going to present proof. But when you want solution, I want people to think ccrg.info. Thank you. God bless.
Cynthia Nicholas.
My name is Cynthia Nicholas, and I'm with Long Island Skywatch. Geoengineering is defined as actions taken to counter the climate effects of greenhouse gas emissions on the atmosphere. Current research is focused on two distinct concepts. The most discussed technique is solar radiation management, which is also known as SRM. SRM releases particles, known as aerosols, into the atmosphere. The purpose is to increase the amount of solar energy or sunlight that is reflected back to space. The second technique alters the reflectivity of clouds by spraying droplets of seawater into the atmosphere to make the clouds brighter. There are many patents that describe how these two concepts are accomplished. In 1990, Hughes Aircraft Company created the Wells-Back seating patent for the reduction of global warming. The patent describes putting metals like aluminum and barium into jet fuel. Then, water vapor from the jet engine seeds the atmosphere by creating particles that stay afloat to reflect sunlight. Geoengineering would only mask the effects of climate change. In fact, geoengineering adds a greenhouse gas more potent than CO2 to the atmosphere, water vapor. It also does nothing to decrease or prevent rising CO2 and the resultant problems such as ocean acidification. Geoengineering would also significantly increase acid rain. Acid rain leaches aluminum from soil into rivers and streams and damages fish populations by disrupting their reproductive cycle. Acid rain from sulfur, nitrogen, and aluminum greatly impacts highly sensitive forest ecosystems. It damages forests by draining nutrients from the soil, which causes altered tree growth and dieback. I would advise everyone to start looking at the trees on Long Island. They are in severe decline. A tree bark sample taken from my backyard showed high aluminum, barium, and strontium. Acid rain causes aluminum to be unnaturally released from the soil. As aluminum is the favored metal being proposed by geoengineers due to its low cost, the effects on Long Island forests, farms, and waters is insurmountable. Geoengineering, which also includes weather modification and weather mitigation programs, could decrease rainfall significantly. Decreased rainfall would have a huge agricultural impact on Long Island's farming community, trees, water supplies, and citizens. Geoengineering could also increase rain or snow in one area to the detriment of another. It would reduce the total amount of direct sunlight reaching Earth's surface. All plants, agricultural crops, and trees require direct sunlight for photosynthesis, let alone humans. The decrease in sunlight over the oceans could affect precipitation patterns, leading to crazy weather. Geoengineering would decrease effectiveness of alternative forms of energy such as solar panels due to reductions in direct sunlight or diffuse sunlight. Geoengineering would also increase atmospheric water vapor, a greenhouse gas, and cirrus clouds which are formed from the trails which are left by the planes. They spread out, block the sun, and turn our sky into a white haze, which is what we get quite frequently on Long Island. Aircraft emissions are responsible for 4 to 8% of global warming since air temperature records began in 1850. So the panacea they are proposing is actually causing what they are purporting to fix. It doesn't compute. Aircraft are considered the most economical way to disperse atmospheric aerosols into the atmosphere. However, rockets are used all the time. In 2009, the U.S. Navy and NASA dispersed an aluminum oxide dust cloud using a rocket over the east coast of the United States. Where was their environmental impact statement or public oversight? Geoengineering also raises particularly difficult national security issues because it could help some regions while harming others. All studies show that once begun, it cannot be stopped without creating harmful sudden increases in global temperature. Who decides when and where to geoengineer? Why is there no public consent to our government dropping aluminum, barium, silver iodide, or other aerosols into the air we breathe? As a teacher for 16 years, I have watched disabilities rise among my students exponentially. 10 years ago, autism was 1 out of every 10,000 children. Now it affects 1 in 70 boys. Allergies are no longer seasonal. They last all year and they develop at any age. Nearly everyone you know has a child with a disability. Asthma is an epidemic. Respiratory illness is the 3rd leading cause of death. It has moved up from 7 in the last 6 years. Something is causing this.
You're out of time.
Okay, thank you.